tumaze tutawuli kwa pani nani natwabeshe baboka mutinani success knowledge tiye pani bela kube uwabakoni sensa tutawa abantu uwabakoni sensa usakamana abantu usakamana.
Hello, Ascensaries out there. The following video is another session in English language, and our focus is on transformation. And then we're going to have a quick exam preparation under rewrites. So we have 4 questions containing 4 rewrites and 1 question containing how best you can answer question tags. Let's begin. The instructions are that we need to rewrite the sentences below correctly. Number 1, Mulenga was allowed to visit his village. Begin, Mulenga was authorized. When we talk about such rewrites, we are trying to talk about rewrites which can be able to imply that inside of a sentence, the subject is being given permission. The subject is Mulenga because this is the person under our discussion. This person was allowed. Saying this person was allowed is the same as saying Mulenga was authorized. So an examiner would want and love to see us understanding that allowed and authorized are the same words, so we are just going to continue from 2. So Mulenga was authorized to visit his village. So our correct answer is Mulenga was authorized to visit his village. In the first place, to mean allowed, authorized, permitted, or the word let. They are going to simply mean the same. Then we go to question 2. They will fail the exam if they do not study hard. Mind you, that's not happening. It's just an advice of the consequence that would follow if people were not be able to study hard. So I'm going to say unless. When starting with unless, you start with positivity. So we are going to start as if they've studied. So I'm going to say unless we are going to remove this negativity. Unless they study hard, then we are going to put a comma. Unless they study hard, then we're going to say they will. But this note here will come and be able to be used between this action and the consequence. Unless they study hard, they will not fail the exam. Unless they study hard, they will not fail the exam. I hope we are following closely. We go to question 3. As James was crossing the road, he saw a snake. So in this case, we're talking about James, and his action of crossing the road enabled him to see a snake. So we're saying crossing. So this is an action. Crossing the road. Then we're going to put a comma. Then who was crossing the road? We're going to put the action name, James. What happened to James? He saw a snake. Crossing the road, James saw a snake. Otherwise, we are not allowed to say crossing the road, he saw a snake, because we haven't mentioned James in any way. So when we say crossing the road, we have to start with the actual name, provided the name of the subject is existing. Crossing the road, James saw a snake. Number 4, he did approve our requests. Add a suitable question tag. What's important to understand is that a question tag is a short form of a phrase that can just be used to encourage a reply or to confirm whether something is true or not. And when trying to write question tags, we look at the nature of the sentence, if it is positive or negative. Being negative is containing a note because an action is not happening. Being positive is about not containing this particular note. So he did approve our meeting. We're just going to remove the note from the verb, then we interchange the verb with the subject. So this is going to become did he. But most importantly, do not forget to put a question mark. And as usual, like I always overemphasize, English is not a clear, like maybe past subject where you can just be in your comfort zone. Grab a paper, relate the same information to some of the previous exam-based questions under the same concept. And most importantly, keep a positive attitude towards your academics, and self-belief is the most important key. So till in the next video in our English language paper 2, for now, it's a very good bye.
Azetuto ulikopa ni nani? Natwabeshe baboka mwatinani. Success, knowledge, tiye pali bela kube babo uwabako ni sensa. Tutawa abantu uwabako ni sensa.